Hello puzzle fans, welcome back to the channel. First of all, you may have seen a video about this game go up yesterday. If you're a subscriber, you may have seen a notification, and then I got rid of it because the audio was not great and my gameplay was not great. So, aside from that, thank you very much for the support on the charity stream. We raised just under £300 for Cats Protection, so that's very good. Thank you for everyone who stopped by, everyone who said hello, and of course everyone who donated. Much appreciated. Right, let's get on with it, shall we? This is Bombe. Le Bombe. Game capture. Didn't work. Brilliant. I tested this before I started, and then now it doesn't work. There we go. It's Minesweeper with a bit of a twist, with a bit of a shake-up, where you don't play Minesweeper as such. You create rules to solve Minesweeper boards. Let me just click through this tutorial. It's a bit rough. I'm gonna be a tutorial. I've played it a lot more since the aborted video yesterday, and I'm very much au fait with it now. It's a bit janky, as you can see. It's a bit bare bones, but it is very good, in my opinion. It's by Charlie Bray. I assume they are French or something. I don't know. It's on Steam currently. On sale. Oh god, sorry. It's currently on sale for a little while actually. Until the 11th of March for £6 sterling, the regional equivalent. I booted it up last night, I made my video, I made some dinner, I came back, I saw that the video was bad. Somebody told me, your video's terrible mate, just fix it. And so I did. Delete the video and then played 3 hours non-stop of this before I even realised what was going on, and I had to go to bed. So anyway, let's get right into it. So you got standard Minesweeper rules. You got cells. Let's just undo everything that's happened and just make sure that everything's good. But you can't interact with the cells in any meaningful way. You have to tell the game what rules you want to apply to certain things. So, for example, this region here, it automatically creates regions around numbers, so it creates regions of information that you have. So, you already have this information, you can divine this information as a human being, that there are definitely no bombs in these two squares. So you would create a rule that says that. And now, this UI admittedly is pretty rough on the eyes, and it does do what you want it to do once you've learned exactly the information that it is telling you. So this region has 0 bombs next to a 2, so if there is ever, let's go to the rule thing, if there is ever a number 2 with no bombs next to it, we can perform the clear action, and obviously the clear action is just the same as pressing the cell. Obviously in Minesweeper, if you press a cell, you're sure there's no mines there. So we just apply that rule, and it does that. We need to do the same thing for the number 1. If there's ever a number 1 and the region connected to that number 1 has no bombs on it, we know that we can clear those squares. If there's a 2, if there's a 1 square region with 1 bomb in it, we know that that must be the bomb, right? The region is 1 cell, and there is 1 bomb in that 1 cell, so it must be a bomb, obviously. Same with this, right? There's a 2 cell region that has 2 bombs. Oh, surprisingly, they're both bombs. already made that 2 and 0 rule. So it starts off, in my experience, at least yesterday, it starts off very like, what on earth is happening and why? And a lot of the UI here that is locked away from you beyond progress, right? I can't see the rules I've written, you know, like I can't, this help system is rough. I don't get to see my list of rules for quite some time. Not that it really matters, right? So we basically do the same thing again here. The region is 4 cells, and there's 4 bombs in that region. Surprise, surprise, we can mark those all as bombs. And then it's slowly going through its list of rules here. Thankfully, we've already made rules for all of these situations. 4 regions, a 4 region with 4 bombs, that's fine. It's all done. Hooray! First thing we unlock is the speed thing, so I will do you a quick favour here and just speed this up. And now it keeps applying all those rules that you've built to the Minesweeper grid up until it gets to the point where it doesn't have any information about this situation that it's seen before. So surprisingly, we've yet to build a rule for a region that's 3 squares, 3 cells with no bombs. And obviously that's a simple case of just saying, well, if the region's 3 big with no bombs, then obviously just clear them all. The dopamine. If the region is 3 cells but with 3 bombs, then they're all bombs. Hooray! Right, now finally we can see our rules list. Yeah? This is our list of rules, this is how many times they've been applied, this is how many cells they have cleared. This will become important later, especially as you can sort them by various things. Yeah? Let's for example say we want to apply all of the clear cells rules first. Okay. We can do something else as well here, which is kind of nice, is if we could actually delete this rule and delete this rule, rather than having a separate rule for, well, if the region is 1 cell and there's no bombs, clear it. If the region is 2 cells and there's no bombs, clear it. What we can do is we can edit this rule to say that we don't care what this number is. We don't care what size the region is. If there's no bombs in that region, clear it all. Yeah? Which tidies our rule builder up a little bit, you know? Plus it future-proofs us. We won't then get stuck on it won't stop us from progressing on a level where it's like, oh, you didn't tell me what to do when the region was 9 big and there were no mines for sure. The smart amongst you will be going, well, why can't I do this for if the region is the same size as the number of bombs in it? And you are correct. That functionality seems to be locked behind progress, where you can eventually start putting variables in here, or less than, greater than, 1 less than, etc, etc. But, you know, that is there. Whoops. Did I accidentally delete this rule? No, I changed the thing. Alright, yes. Update rule. Okay, good. Let's leave this screen. So we have yet to build this. If the region is 5 cells and there are 5 bombs in it, obviously they're all bombs. Okay, ignore that. That's very complicated for no reason. Let me just skip through this tutorial for you. Okay. So this is the first level whereby you have to have you have to divine information from 2 regions that overlap. So 5 of these 6 cells are bombs. Yes, the region is 6 big, but there are 5 bombs there. The pro Minesweeper players amongst you will realise that if it has to be one of these, you can hide the regions I discovered. If it has to be one of these cells, then it can't be either this cell or this cell, because if it were, then it would be neither of these, which doesn't leave enough space for this region here. So what we can say is that if, let me unhide this, oh my god, I've forgotten how to do that. Q, that was it. What we can say is if we double click both regions, we get this in the rule constructor. So we know that these four must be bombs, or we can build the rule the other way. We can build the rule and say that we know neither of these two can be bombs. You can't build the rule in both ways. You can't say make these bombs and also clear these. You have to pick one or the other. So we'll do... I think it's best to do clearing rules first rather than marking things as bombs. I think, because obviously when you clear cells you get more numbers. You can still get question marks to Metzi style, where you don't define any information about this. Like obviously it's a 2, like obviously, but if this were a 2 then we already have a rule for that, and that would sort of invalidate what we're doing here. So I think I personally, and I may be wrong on this, think it's best to apply clearing rules first over bomb rules. But I may be proved wrong on that eventually. So yes, so we know it's not either of these two cells, right? So we've overlapped this region and this region. We get a Venn diagram style thing here to say, well, what area do you want to apply a rule to? Just this bit, or the bit where they meet. But we know that this area here does not have bombs, so we can apply this rule, and then the information we get lets us keep solving levels. Okay, here we go. We've unlocked even more functionality, which confused me for a long time, and I will skip by it to show you. Right, so we've got a lot of stuff going on here. It's one of these, it's one of these, but it's also one of these, right? So the information here is... hide this. Alright, so the information here that is important is that it's not this cell, right? Obviously, because it's one of these two here, which by very definition means it's not this one. Yeah? So we don't actually need this functionality for this. What we can say is that if two regions overlap, what are we saying here? Obviously we can clear this, but the biggest hurdle I'm finding with this is putting your thoughts about Minesweeper, which you have lots of thoughts about Minesweeper. I know you do. Don't pretend you don't. And so much of that may just be subconscious algorithms that you just know, that you can just look at and just go, right, click that one, click that one, click that one, click that one. Having never had to explain that to somebody, because we never talk about Minesweeper to each other, you know, it's like our feelings, we don't go there. Do we have feelings? Yes, we will admit that. Do we play Minesweeper? Yes. Do we talk about playing Minesweeper? Obviously freaking not. You know, just don't do it. So having to explain those rules to this unfeeling machine, that's the game, not me, is quite hard, and especially when the UI is like this, and it's like, what is happening? Anyway, so we can clear this cell. I don't know, now that we've got a bit more information here, we can put don't care in certain things, whether there's anything we can do about this to future-proof other situations. Like, I guess we don't necessarily care the size of this region, you know? If there is a region of that is always 0 here, if this overlapping region, the blue one, sorry colorblind people as well, also, just for the record, there is a low contrast option, but that just dims the screen ever so slightly. I'm also going to turn the music down because it is quite grating. accessible. Though I don't know anything about colour blindness, so... I think I've just made it probably worse. What was I saying? Yes, if these two regions overlap, I don't necessarily care the size of the overlapping. I don't care whether it's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. That's also a number. Fact fans. As long as they both have one bomb and one region then becomes 0 after the overlapping and the other region is a 1, we know that that one can go. Correct? So rather than me making this the 2 and then being stopped in another level where it's this exact same scenario but it's a 3 and then a 4, you know, we can just make this, I don't care what this number is, you know? And this to me is, and I've deleted my save file and have started again, 1 for this video and 2 for my own benefit, because you know me and my automation genre also. I've got this platonic ideal in my head now of Bombe, where my rules list is small and neat and tidy and not just 500 rules full, which will also become relevant later as we see some more of the content. So let's apply this rule, which we know is fine. Okay. This information is irrelevant. So obviously these two regions overlap, and this has to be a bomb, correct? And this also can't be a bomb, which is annoying that I can't make 2 rules for that at once, but oh, I think I can, right? I can make a rule and say don't apply it. Oh, it tells you if the rule makes no sense as well. Illogical. Why illogical? I don't fully understand that UI. But obviously it's saying, well, if I say this is a bomb, then I've got some other information here that now makes no sense. You have to trust the process. You can't. That does mean you can sort of brute force it and go, well, that rule is fine. I don't fully understand why that rule is fine. That rule doesn't work. Oops. That rule doesn't work. But oh, that clearing that does work. You can kind of brute force it, but that becomes harder to do as the rules become less obvious. So what we're saying here is that a region with 2 bombs that overlaps a region with 1 bomb, I don't care the size of the overlapping region. If this were even bigger, if this was going like, I guess it couldn't be bigger actually, these are by necessity the only cells where these would touch these 2 here. In a hexagonal grid at least. But I don't know if I want to think about that right now. I don't know if I want to think about grids that are other shapes right now. I guess on a square grid it wouldn't. If these were squares and the 2 and 2 were wedged together and these 3 said 2 but also these 3 said 1 from a separate, you know, like one of these squares was already a mine, so I knew it was 2 of these for whatever reason. So I guess I can mark this as don't care. I'd rather just say, which means that the overlapping. Do I care about this either? Again, like the fact that I can change this and the rule is fine both ways. You know, I don't care what's left over here. If this were a valid cell, it still doesn't make any difference, because if this was a cell on the board, it still couldn't be this one, because then that would mean that it's not this one, or this one, which would break the rule. So yeah, it doesn't seem like you can build a rule that breaks, like you can't fail. You can get stopped on a level because you don't have a rule for the situation you've seen. But you don't ever like get to a level and it blows up and goes, oh sorry, your rules actually killed you here, start again. Which would make the game quite difficult, I would imagine, but it would also be interesting. Go, 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 go. Let me ramp the speed up here. Immediately hitting a level that I don't have a rule for. So I don't think this information is relevant. Obviously it's this and this, yeah, so it has to be both of these. It can't be both of these. And it also can't be this. And I did say that I was going to write rules that were clearing more than anything else. So I can necessarily clear this cell. But does that mean I don't care about any of these? So obviously I can't say I don't care about the size of this. That goes, no, you do care about the size of this. But it does allow me to say I don't care about the size of this. Which is correct, because as I say, it doesn't matter if this were a cell here. Well, not here, because as I say, these two aren't necessarily the only cells where this would overlap. But I don't care about the overlapping region. Because it's 3 and 1. But here, clearing it did nothing, because the information it gave me was actually irrelevant. So although this rule is fine and does work, it's not enough on its own to solve the level. But that does give us this very nice rule here that we can make, whereby I don't care the size of this region. As long as it's 1 and 0, so a 0 size region. No, sorry. I've forgotten the bloody way around these are. This is the size of the region, yeah. So there's 1 bomb that overlaps an area with 3 bombs. I don't care about the size of the overlapping area. I know that these just both have to be bombs. Because it's only going to be one of these, regardless of the size of the area. Oh my god, can someone make 3 and 4D Minesweeper, please? Can you imagine? Google that. Someone Google that. Can I get a fact check on that? Solve levels to unlock level sets and features. I need to move my face slightly. Let me put my face down here on this bit, which doesn't seem to be as relevant now. For now. So yes, there are 200 levels in each of these, under each of these padlocked areas. The size of the grid grows as you go down the grid, as you go down this list, and the complexity goes up as you go across the grid. So if we did 58 levels, we would get bigger grids, and we would also get these 4x3 grids, but they would be more complex, and that means that they have different rules in these cells. They would say, oh, I'm not going to tell you the number, but it's like more than 1. It's not 0. It's a non-zero number of bombs, and you have to do rules for that. So right, let's do this. Now let's see. We can actually do this, right? Which would probably have been good in some previous rules. We can say that I don't care the number in the region either. Right? So, have I clicked the wrong things? Start again. Yeah. I don't care what number this 2 actually is. No, I do care about that. That's the problem. No, I do care about that. So, I think we have a triple region rule here. Because we know it must be only one of these 2. Which means it's only one of these 3. Correct? It's only one of these 3. Actually, let me get rid of this. It's only one of these 3. So what we can do is we can actually, rather than either saying we want to clear it or bomb it, we can just say, well, I want to then give me more information. I want this to actually tell me that there's only one bomb here. And I want to then apply all of my rules again to see if anything else now makes sense. But we don't care about the size of this. Yeah? There's a region with one mine that overlaps completely this region. We do care that it's the number 2. What we would want is we would want this, if possible, we would want this to be 1 less. Like, we could build a big master rule if I had the brains to build it with this functionality, which I might eventually get. The functionality, not the brains. That whereby if this number is 1 less than this number, then this number becomes this number, or something along those lines. Anyway, so let's apply this rule, and we'll make this its own region with 1 bomb in it, because we know that. And that gave us enough information to solve the rest of the puzzle. I should have really jacked the speed down a little bit for you there, just to see. Let's do it again with this. Oh, except this is a slightly different scenario here. It's still overlapping. It's two regions with 1 bomb that overlap. But again, I don't care about the size of this. I just care that I know that there's definitely... I also don't really care about the size of this. All I care about is that there's a region. This is a 0, right? That there are no leftover squares from this region that don't intersect with this region at all. This region is a subset of this region. Still too fast. Or is it not fast enough? You tell me, dopamine enjoyers. Do you like the little pops? I do. Oh my god! What do we got here? We've got... obviously it's one of... It's not this one, right? It's not this one. Because if it were this one, it would be neither of these, which would only leave 3 spaces here. So obviously it's trivial to just say we'll clear this one, but as I say, I'm trying to do this. You know, I've only built 13 rules so far, and they're all kind of nice and neat and tidy. So it'd be nice to keep going with that, but that would take literal hours. I'd like this video to be over in the next 90 seconds, because then it'll be half an hour. So clear this. Always clear regardless of size, because 1 and 4, 2 of them overlap. This only leaves 3 left, so it doesn't matter the size of this extraneous reason, none of them can be bombs. Let's jack the speed up. Yay! Alright, so we've done 100 levels. So now we can see here the grids get bigger. We already had enough rules to solve 51 of them. The other thing you can do is that you not necessarily have to stop at the level that you're on. You can click next level up here, but the other thing you can do is you can double click it and it will just try and solve all of them. So actually there's only 3 levels out of those remaining 100 that we didn't have rules for. And the same with this. I've gotten through the first 51, but if I wanted to just test my rules against all of them, I'm only missing 12 rules. And there might not be 12 unique rules, to be fair. 1 rule might do enough. So you can see here in the more complexity thing, it starts to get a bit like, whoa, so this is a 0 with a minus next to it. So this is at least 2. What was 0 with a minus next to it? Help? 0 or fewer. Okay, that's good to know. Well, 0 or fewer is just 0, right? So we can just nip this rule in the bud straight away. We can just say, well, if it's 0 or fewer, in the rule inspector, please. If it's 0 or fewer, then that's still clear, right? I don't care that it's suddenly 0 or fewer. Like, that is irrelevant to me. And if it's 2 or more in a region that's 2 size, then they're all bombs. Can only be bombs, in fact. And so on. As I say, I overran the video slightly. But as Bomb, I hope that this helps you if you're new to Bomb or Minesweeper, and I do hope that this video ends up... Check I'm not muted, that would be funny. I'm not doing this video a third time. I hope this video ended up a bit better than the other one. The other one got like maybe 4 views, and one of the comments was, this video sucks. So thank you for that person, for your honesty, it's very helpful. If you enjoyed, please let me know. I think I might be back with more Bomb content, to be honest with you. Maybe when I'm like a long way through the game, I can show you some cool stuff. Because this game has got its hooks into me in a way that I didn't fully expect when I bought it. So yeah, if you enjoyed, please let me know with a like or a comment, and if you'd like to see more puzzle content, please subscribe. And also, in the comment section, please let me know your feelings on Balatro. Yes, more Balatro, less Balatro. I don't want to say the same amount of Balatro, because then that means like a 12-hour stream, so, you know. That'll be it. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.